On the ground in Greenland, the framework of a NATO deal President Trump promises will be a great deal for everybody is still leaving people uneasy.
I don't believe it. I really don't. I think after what happened with Venezuela, that was a big shock to the whole world. I think he's going to wait for everything to die down.
Jack Baker lives in London and is visiting family in Greenland. He says he's worried for their future.
I'm really scared.
Yeah. That's true for many Greenlanders.
What do you make of it, this idea that there could be some sort of deal between NATO?
I think it's a little bit a loss of respect that he just called Greenland a piece of ice. It's more than a piece of ice.
Public polling shows 85% of Greenlanders do not want Greenland to be part of the United States.
I think it's madness if they want to be Americans. It's not a decision for NATO to do, or for Denmark for that sake.
Every day this week, Jens Erik Kelsen has marched in front of the U.S. consulate in protest.
I'm only a simple, normal person who's doing whatever I can to protect one of the big things that we have, which is our freedom.
A carpenter by trade who has called Greenland home for 52 years, desperately hoping President Trump will listen to what Greenlanders want.
The world is a garden of a lot of different flowers. We have to remain different with our different smells and our different beauty.
All right, Ellison Barber joins us live from Greenland tonight. Ellison, so great to have you there and hear the perspective of the people that live there. I'm curious, from your conversations, are they worried about the bigger global picture? Do you hear concerns about China or Russia, the concerns that President Trump is raising over here in the United States?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. A lot of people have told us they do have concerns about security threats in this country, in this region, from both Russia and China. And they also said that they are comfortable with and would welcome, at least in the past, an expanded U.S. military presence here. Remember, there are treaties for that following World War II. At one point in Greenland, the United States, at the height of the Cold War, they had at least 17 named military bases in this country. So people are open to that idea and have been pretty consistently because they do think there are some security concerns here. What they had an issue with was this idea of Greenland becoming a part of the United States. Most people here were adamant that they did not want that to happen, but the security concerns, they feel those as well, and they were open to the United States having a more expanded military presence here based on the treaties that were already in place going back decades. Tom?
Ellison, before you go, since you've been there, how have the people of Greenland been treating you and our NBC News team there in your interactions with them this week?
You know, they've been really kind, really open to speaking with us, appreciative that they were able to say their position on all of this. I think in a lot of ways that's what some people felt when this first started, this back and forth, was that their voices weren't being heard, that they were getting lost in this debate. And they were saying, you know, we are not just this in-between country. We are a real country with real people who live here, and they wanted their voices heard in all of it. And for the most part, we've had people say that they're grateful that we're here, that they're having a chance to tell their stories and their views on this situation when it feels like the rest of the world has a lot to say about them.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.